What's the story, everyone? Welcome back to Gator Games Fan TV. How's the form? How are we all getting on? This is 5 talking points from the weekend's club championship action. We're going to be focusing in on 5 games as we always do. This is coming a day later because we did do the podcast on Monday this time around. We weren't around Sunday. So, we discussed the games in more detail there and we go through kind of everything really. But this is just kind of quick form. 5 games worth speaking about and worth talking about. We won't be discussing the Dublin Senior Football Championship final in this video because I did make a previous video on that on Sunday morning. So do make sure to check it out. And look, I am rocking the Ballyboden St. Enda's jersey. I said I would if they would go and win the Dublin Championship, which they did. So look, we'll wear this in this video. I wore it in the podcast last night as well, to be fair. So yeah, congratulations to them. If you want to see me discuss that and get a bit more analysis in regards to that game, do feel free to check out that video. It should be up there on the channel. But yeah, we're going to be discussing 5 games, focusing in on Atoy versus Nace. We're going to be discussing the big win for St. John's versus Lockhill Shamrocks, Mid Kerry getting beaten by Dingle, Sarsfields beating Middleton and Cork, and also the result from Kil Cormac getting the better of Shinron in the Offaly final as well. So anyone who's new to the channel, hit the like button, subscribe. We do plenty of club championship videos on this channel, podcast, everything else, and there will be some more videos as well coming in the next couple of weeks as we start to ramp up going into the 2026 inter-county season. So let's get straight into it. So we'll start off with the Kildare Senior Football Championship final between Atoy and Nace. Atoy won this 117 to 18 points, and Atoy stopped Nace in their bid for 5 in a row in the Kildare Senior Football Championship. A first title since 2020 as well for Atoy. That came during COVID and they couldn't celebrate and everything else, obviously. So this will mean the absolute world to them. And considering how dominant Nace have been, like Nace have just had an absolute stranglehold over this county in both football and hurling. They've been so dominant, and it's been very, very hard for anyone to really get near them. So this is huge, absolutely huge for Atoy. Devastating for Nace, tough for Philly McMahon as well. Be interesting to see if he does stick with Nace now following this defeat. I always said in previous videos that this was always going to be a very, very hard job for Philly McMahon because of the fact that, you know, he was just expected to win the Kildare Senior Football Championship, given how dominant they've been. At a bare minimum, he would have been expected to win this, and then it would have been really interesting to see how he would have done in Leinster. Look, as a Dublin man, I am a little bit disappointed Nace lost, just for the fact that I would have liked to have seen how Phil McMahon would have got on with this Nace team in the Leinster Club Football Championship. And look, obviously, I want Dublin managers to do well. Ger Brennan, obviously, the current manager. But look, who knows further down the line when other opportunities will come up. And on a side note as well, you've got Johnny Cooper becoming the Dublin under-20 football manager as well, which is interesting, to be fair. But look, fair play to Atoy. Dominant win in the end, or a huge win, really, to get over the line. It was interesting. Like, Nace did start the better side. They actually led 8 points to 4. Early on, but then it was a Barry Kelly goal by Atoy, which really did turn the tide. He scored 1-3 in total. Noel Kelly was very good with 6 points as well. Kevin Feely outstanding as well, scoring a point, dominating the middle of the park as he usually does. And for Nace, 5 points from Ryan Sinky. He was impressive, and Alex Byrne with some brilliant 2-pointers as well, finishing with 10 points. And yeah, it was just in the closing moments, in the closing stages, they nearly pulled it back, didn't they? Like, Alex Byrne hits that 2-pointer. And then they get a chance from Ryan Sinky for a 2-pointer as well, to have, clawed back a 4-point deficit in injury time. It would have been an incredible comeback from Nace, and then going on into extra time or a replay. I'm not too sure where this would have went from there. But in the end, look, it is Atoy who get over the line, and blows the Leinster Club Football Championship wide open. Like, I think there would have been some Nace supporters seeing Ballyboden win the Dublin Senior Football Championship final and thinking, do you know what? We have a chance there. We have an opportunity at potentially now getting over the line, because I don't think, look, Ballyboden are a very good side. There's no question about that. But I don't think they're as good as Coola. I don't think they're as good as Kilmuckle Crokes either. I think they are beatable. Whether now can Atoy go and beat them, it'd be interesting to see. Look, there are other sides in the Leinster Club Football Championship as well. But it's just the All-Ireland Club Championship in general has been absolutely blown wide open over the last 2 weekends with certain results and everything else. So this is, an incredible kind of result there for Atoy. Commiserations to Nace. Big celebrations, obviously, for Atoy. Let me know, how do you think they'll get on in the Leinster Club Football Championship? Sticking on the trend of football, Dingle got the better of Mid Kerry, 116 to 16 points. And do you know what? Like, this result for me, has blown the club championship wide open as well. We were mentioning previously there that, with Nace obviously being knocked out, you've Kula being knocked out. But now this result, not only, look, Mid Kerry are a divisional side, so them losing in essence isn't a huge story, because even if they had won this, they would never have been in contention for a Munster Championship or an All-Ireland or everything else. But what this does mean is that Dr. Crokes are gone. Dr. Crokes are out. They lost in the county championship a couple of weeks ago. And despite winning the other championship in Kerry, the club championship, it is the winners of the county championship that progress into the Munster Club Football Championship. And how it works is, if a divisional side wins the county championship, then it's the club championship winners who go in. But if it is a club side that win the county championship, it is them who go in, regardless of what happened in the other club championship. So despite Dr. Crokes getting over the line in that club championship, they don't progress on into Munster. So yeah, worth kind of explaining there, because I did tweet that out yesterday, and a few people were getting a bit confused and everything else. It is kind of confusing, to be fair. And it probably is a little bit strange that Crokes win a club championship in their county, but there is another one, so they have to worry about too. It is an interesting one, really. I don't know if they could do like a playoff maybe between the two winners or something, or maybe that's an extra game we're kind of mentioning. I don't know, but it is kind of worth discussing in fairness. But look, Dingle back in the final. It is worth mentioning they haven't won the county championship in 76 years, and what's interesting enough, in this game, Mid Kerry actually raced into an early lead in the opening 20 minutes. They had 8 points to 2, with Sean O'Brien converting a 2-pointer. Kieran Kennedy was very impressive as well. And it took a while for Dingle to kind of settle into the game. But once they did, they found another gear. Points from Billy O'Connor, Conor Gainey, and then the goal as well. Tom O'Sullivan doing a great bit of work, kind of charging forward as he so often does. And then teeing up Conor Gainey for a very comfortable and tidy finish into the back of the net. They led 1-6 to 8 points at halftime. And really after that, they kind of never looked back. Tom O'Sullivan, outstanding as well, clipping over a brilliant point at the start of the second half. That made it 116 to 13 points. And despite Mid Kerry throwing everything at it, Kennedy and Houlihan closed the gap to a single score. But Dingle held their nerve, and Dylan Gainey kicking the ball out on the final whistle as well, with the hooter sounding. Interesting as well, like having the hooter in the Kerry Championship. I think they might be the only county that are using the hooter system, but yeah, it is just an interesting kind of observation I've seen from watching this game. And yeah, look, they'll face Austin Stacks in the final. And yeah, it'll be very interesting to see what kind of happens in regards to that. Austin Stacks themselves have had a mad couple of years. I remember they won the county championship a couple, was it 4 or 5 years ago. They then got relegated to intermediate, and they've now found their way back into the county final again. So it's a little bit mad, isn't it? The Kerry championship teams seem to go up and down all the time. Like, it wasn't too long ago that Cairns O'Rattleys were, in an All-Ireland semi-final, and they were relegated as well recently. So yeah, it's a little bit mad, isn't it, the Kerry Championship? Interesting enough, Mark O'Connor was back in the ranks there for Dingle as well, back from AFL, kind of slotting in for Dingle, as he so often has over the last couple of seasons. We do often see him kind of slot in for these kind of games and everything else. And it'd be interesting to see, he will play the Kerry final, there's no doubt about that. But if Dingle get over the line, does he play in the Munster Club Football Championship? That'd be interesting to see. As far as I know, I think he will be going back to AFL at some point. So, it's not like he's going to be back in contention for Kerry or anything like that. I would always be interested to see, would he have any interest in coming back to Kerry? They're not short of great players, are they? But imagine a midfield pairing of him and Joe O'Connor. That would be, Jesus, yeah, that would be a good night to everyone, really, wouldn't it? In terms of the All-Ireland next year. But yeah, credible result there for Dingle. Can they win a first title in 76 years? Let me know. Moving on to the hurling, and St. John's got the better of Lockhill Shamrocks 216 to 118. An incredible result, really, it must be said, for St. John's. Their first county title in Antrim in 52 years. An extraordinary result for them. They obviously got over Cushendall the last. What an incredible result that was for them. And then they've gone and beat Lockhill Shamrocks as well. So they've taken out the two kind of big hitters within Antrim and put themselves into the mix in terms of the Ulster Club Hurling Championship. The likes of Enda McGuirk and Peter McCallan were outstanding defensively. Very, very strong, sort of keeping the opposition forwards at bay. Ushie McManus was very good as well from St. John's perspective. He got a goal kind of early on to increase St. John's lead to 6 points. Sean McGrath did get one back and it kind of set up a bit of a nervy finish towards the end. But in the end, St. John's kind of held their nerve to get over the line. Spark and Wild celebrations, which we can see on the screen there as well. So, yeah, an extraordinary result for them. As I was saying, Ushie McManus scored 1-2. Donald Carson got himself a goal. Connor Johnson with 4 points. Shay Shannon with 5 points. Aaron Bradley with 2 points in there as well. And Connell Bohill got a point as well, as did Dominic Nugent. So, yeah, an incredible kind of result there for St. John's to get over the line. Disappointment, no doubt about it, for Lockhill Shamrocks. Obviously, with Cushendall gone, Lockhill would have felt like this was a great opportunity for them, but it wasn't meant to be. James McNaughton scored 10 points, without question, their standout player. But they seem to struggle in terms of not really getting their other forwards kind of involved in the game. But, yeah, massive result for St. John's. Congratulations to them. And, yeah, going into the Ulster Club Hurling Championship now, it's going to be very interesting. Look, no question, I think Slot Neil will be the favourites. There's no question in regards to that. But can St. John's make a push here? Can they get out of Ulster and get themselves into the All-Ireland semi-finals? What an incredible story that would be if they can go and do it. And look, having beaten Cushendall and beaten Lockhill Shamrocks, they will fancy their chances against Slot Neil. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Next up, we've got Sarsfields, who beat Middleton in the Cork Premier Hurling Championship 218 to 114. Big result for Sars. They lift their second title in 3 years. 7-point victory over Middleton at Park Equive. So big result there for Sarsfields. We know Matthew's obviously involved as well, doing stats with Sars, so obviously big for him and a huge moment for Sars. Definitely dark horses, I think, in terms of an All-Ireland, considering what they did last year. Look, coming through Munster, it's going to be very difficult. You have Ballygunner in there. You have some very other good sides, and the Pearshig are going to be in there as an example. So it's not going to be easy for Sars. There's no question about that. It's certainly not going to be a given. But look, they're back in contention once again, and they are dark horses, I think, in terms of not many people considering them. People are looking at Nafina, Ballygunner, Ballyhale. St. Thomas are being mentioned, but not many people are mentioning Sars, and I think they definitely are in the conversation. And look, this was very comfortable, to be fair. Obviously, this game was live on RTE, and it was business as usual, really, 1-9 to 1-3 at halftime. Very comfortable. Jack O'Connor hitting 5 points in total. James Sweeney getting 2 goals as well. So it was very comfortable, it must be said, from a Sarsfields perspective. There was a moment in the second half where Middleton kind of started to ramp it up a little bit, and they actually brought it back to 4 points. With the game going to 113 to 19, kind of going into the final kind of couple of moments. But to be fair, Sars managed the game perfectly. They kicked on after that. James Sweeney got his second goal of the game, and they never looked back after that, to be fair. And then big result obviously for Sars. The likes of Jack O'Connor scored 5 points, Colin McCarthy with 8. As we said, James Sweeney got 2 goals, Barry O'Flynn and Keane Darcy both on the score sheet as well. It is worth mentioning Middleton were without Conor Lahan. He was injured, so look, that was always going to be a big miss for Middleton to not have Conor Lahan. One of their starting fullbacks was injured as well, so they had big injuries coming into the team, and you could see that really they couldn't really get their attacking players really into the game. Mikey Finn scored 7 points, Evan McGrath with a goal there as well. So Middleton doing enough to get over the line. And big result from a Middleton perspective, or big result from a Sarsfield perspective. Disappointment for Middleton. They couldn't emulate what they did back in 2021. But huge for Sars. And as I said, definitely dark horses now going into the Munster Club Championship and the All-Ireland, really. And the last talking point of the day, Kil Cormac, 124, Shinron 214. And big result for Kil Cormac. Obviously, Liam, as we know, very happy man. There's no question about it. Definitely enjoying the Monday club, the Tuesday club, and everything else that goes with it. Huge result for Kil Cormac. It was an interesting game, really. They were 10 points up at half time. They were cruising. They were very easy. It was kind of funny because in the group chat that I have with the lads, I kind of messaged in saying that Kil Cormac are incredibly impressive, very good team, obviously praising them and everything else as you would, but I was also saying that I genuinely do think they have a chance at coming through Leinster. I think they're dark horses. I think they could very well go and be the Kilkenny champions, and then before you knew it, it was like Shinron started to come back into it, and I was thinking, have I jinxed them again? You know, have I done one of these jinxes that I so often do? And thankfully enough, it was in the group chat. It wasn't on Twitter or anything like that, because there wasn't as many people who could give me slack. But to be fair, they did hang on. They did get over the line in the end. Like, you'd look at the scoreline and you'd think it sounds fairly comfortable, but it definitely wasn't that. Like, Shinron rallied kind of back into the second half. And yeah, like, there was, you know, it was very, very tough, to be fair, from a Kil Cormac kind of point of view to kind of hang on. You know, like the likes of Jason Sampson, Owen Bailey O'Brien, he obviously gets a goal from a Shinron perspective. Adam Landy was very good as well, scoring 3 points. And Kil Cormac were struggling like a little bit to kind of hold it out. It looked like they'd been hit by a train, really. And, you know, there was a lot of near misses. Like, Sampson hits the bar at one stage as well. And Kil Cormac were struggling. But look, fair play to them in the end. They got over the line. Charlie Mitchell getting the goal at the end of the game, 1-5. In total from him. I think the most impressive thing really for me about Kil Cormac is that they are just so well-rounded. Like, I know people look at Jack Screeney, they look at Charlie Mitchell, Adam Screeney, you know, these players as like standout players, Adam Screeney and Charlie Mitchell in particular. But when you have the likes of Daniel Hand, who can score 2 points, you've got Conor Mahon, who can contribute, Colin Spain can contribute, Damien Martin, Enda Grogan, Killian Kiley, Tom Spain, Connor Slevin, like, so many scorers there. You know, Alex Kavanagh coming off the bench getting a point as well. Like, some, you know, a wide range of scores there from a Kil Cormac point of view. And yeah, that is what makes them very dangerous, in my opinion. Look, can they actually go and beat the Kilkenny champions? You know, we'll obviously see who that will be. It will either be Ballyhale or Lockhill Gales. It'll be very tough. There's no question about it. Both teams very experienced, All-Ireland wins in the ranks of both clubs. Some phenomenal players at both clubs, as we know. So it'll be very tough. There's no question about it. And this is a young team as well. And although they've gone now on 1-3 in a row, they're probably maybe still a few years off really challenging the big boys in terms of a Leinster or an All-Ireland. Yeah, an incredible result, obviously, for Kil Cormac there, winning the Offaly Senior Hurling Championship. 3 in a row now as well. So very, very dominant in Offaly, it must be said. But anyways, that's 5 talking points from the weekend's club championship action. Do let me know your thoughts, your opinions on all the weekend's games and discussion points and everything else. And yeah, be back later in the week for a preview of next weekend's club games, and certainly some big ones there as well. I think you've got the Armagh football final, the Kilkenny hurling final, Dublin hurling final as well. So there's going to be some very, very interesting games as it does begin to all heat up in various different club championships. So yeah, hit the like button and subscribe if you could. And until the next one, speak to you all later.